Agree with homeless people. This podcast is not starting off right.
I'm recording. All right. Welcome to the first official Cosmic Vulture podcast in the world.
In the world. This is the only one in the world right now.
There has never been a...
Right at this very moment, there's never been a Cosmic Vultures podcast until right now.
And is this even a podcast if we're in like different areas?
It's a good question, John.
I don't know. Does this make it a podcast?
I think we're talking more like a Google Hangout type situation, but for our purposes, it's going to be a podcast. I don't care what anybody says.
Steve looks like he's the podcast guy.
I'm like, guys,
I'm currently just a floating head.
Yeah, Derek's a decapitated floating head.
So our first podcast, we don't have the funds, so we had to be we're sponsored by Dirt Devil. Suck
No,
up
we're
the
not.
stress with Dirt Devil. Good. Kind of question the tagline from Dirt Devils.
So thanks for tuning in. Right now we're Akibaless.
We
Is
are
that a word?
Akiba.
Akibaless?
Our
Drummer Akiba is not with us at the moment. We're trying to get him on. But when he does become available, we will have him on and we'll discuss some fun things. We hope to have some guests on in the future for the next episode. We're definitely going to have somebody on here. But we're here to just shoot the shit, talk about music, whatever you want to talk about.
I have saltines that I'm going to eat. I think they're old though.
So this podcast, those of you watching, like Derek said, this is going to be primarily music based. We're going to talk about what we do musically as musicians, and also talk about the obvious quarantine that's happening right now. Everybody's quarantined. Everyone's stuck inside. So we're here to kind of open the window of perceptions here, so we can instead of being stuck inside bored.
Yeah, for sure, Steve. Well, that's not funny. I mean,
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at John.
We should call this podcast Old Saltine because I'm eating old saltine.
No, for real though. No, I agree.
Fuck you. What do you agree with? Agree with homeless people. This podcast is not starting off right. Anything to make this reversible.
How much will it cost for this to go away? Just send me a bill and we can make this all go away.
All right, guys. So we're starting off the podcast with some music talk. We are 3 of the 4 Cosmic Vultures. We're working on an album right now. We don't have a set name for it, but we have some tunes that we've already recorded and we're working on. So we're excited about it.
In terms of the name, Derek G Bones had sent us ideas on what the new name could be. He referenced some kind of Greek goddess.
The Greek. It's an early. I don't know if this is like the Greek goddess that people talk about. When I looked it up, it's an early Greek goddess of the sun. Her name was Electrona, and I thought it was interesting, seeing as how our first album was called Mariana, and it dealt with like the very bottom of the ocean, Mariana's Trench. I figured this could be cool, as I'm assuming the sun is one of the highest entities of our galaxy. So it's kind of like the opposite, going from low up to, high, as far as that goes. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It could work.
I feel like that talks a lot in the music where like Mariana was almost like dark in an essence, but not as dark as Seven Witches. And then, now our music now is like a little lighter and a little more dance oriented than like dance funk, like I think I'd going to a club and just going crazy to our music.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because like we, some of the songs in the new album are definitely like you said, dance funk. You can dance to them, but some of them also have some deep, messages like like past albums have. One of the songs, Blue Fire, deals with it's almost like apocalyptic. The lyrics, it's about trying to survive and taking over the world and things like that. So there's some interesting things that the song Voices that we have deals with mental health.
Right. Yeah.
Talking to yourself, trying to help yourself through situations. So we have a lot of different, ideas and elements that we're thinking about. So it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be another full-length album like Mariana.
There's a lot to write about too, because everything that's going on, COVID, like everyone's quarantined, people losing their jobs. So there's like a lot of influence from like seeing people write a lot to like what's going on in the world right now, So it's kind of cool. A lot of things to grab from, and if you're gonna be creative, now's a good time to do it. And even if you don't, that's still okay. But like there's like a lot of shine through with that, I think.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this is actually, as rough of a situation it is for everybody. It's actually you could look at it as an opportunity, like the opportunity to make more music, learn
Yeah.
I'm not really good at it yet, but I downloaded this app learning Spanish and Italian. So that was short-lived because it was just a side effect from watching Narcos. I thought it'd be cool to learn Spanish, and then I got sick of it after 3 days. But still, I tried. I downloaded the app and I paid the $30.
Steve's like I didn't get the language as much as I got learning how to sell some hard drugs. Going back to doing things creative at home. If you have anything at home that you're creating, if you're creating a piece of music, if you're creating a poem, if you're painting, if you're drawing, if you're sculpting, whatever you think that helps you cope, if it's creative and you think it's creative, please share it with us. We'd love to hear about it. We'd love to talk about it. Because honestly, right now, it's just all about coping. Like, what do you do to get by? I don't think any of us ever thought this was going to happen in our lifetime. I'm hoping I'm hoping at one point in the future, I can look back and say, remember that thing? It's pretty scary right now. And, we do what we can.
Absolutely.
Who knows? This might take 2 years. This could be a 2-year isolation. Imagine that. Imagine if this is like a year later.
I heard that it was gonna start to ease up by fall 2021.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, every news outlet is giving you different information. It's kind of crazy. CNN, Fox, everything is exactly. What do you believe at this point? I mean, I every time I go onto one of those websites, it keeps saying things like, if we had only taken action at this point, we wouldn't have had as many deaths. And it's like, okay, well, the deaths already happened. Let's move forward and figure out what we're going to do, and not keep focusing on what already happened, because there's no point in just keep looking back.
The media likes to tell us about how many people who died. They don't tell how many people who recover, and it's a lot of people actually recover from it. Like everyone in our demographic are, primarily okay, unless you have like some underlying biological.
But then you get those stories about that. This 30-year-old kid dying. You get those weird stories like young people dying from it too.
Yeah, but what conditions did he have? Like
apparently none. Like you see these articles like a young guy died or whatever, no pre-existing conditions. So there are those outliers, I guess.
Yeah, there's always gonna be outliers, but like I'd say a good percentage of it is
Well, another problem that I'm seeing especially is that, for instance, there was an article I read, and it said, whatever her name was, Jane Doe of whatever newspaper passed away during COVID-19 pandemic. And if you look inside the article, she didn't die of COVID. She died because she had some underlying issues that they didn't mention in the headline. She had left work a month early because she had been diagnosed with some sort of a cancer. And she had some underlying problems for years, and she ended up dying from those underlying problems. Yet the headline says, so-and-so dies during COVID-19. So it seemed like she died of that. And it's a misleading headline to scare people and shock people. Not to say that there is actually deaths from this, because of course there is, but the news outlets are not doing a good job in really getting the word out to you as to what's actually happening, I feel like. It's funny, I read that like face masks don't really prevent you from getting COVID-19. It just prevents you from giving it to someone else.
Yeah, and
it also depends on the mask.
Yeah,
like the N95 or something. That's like, it's pretty tight to your face, and kind of like you strap it behind your head, and like it only is really effective if you have no facial hair.
Yeah, like me, it doesn't work on me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that well.
Steve's the extreme
Yeah, we're like raising the bar, starting with me, Derek, and then Steve.
My beard's a mess. I've been trying to grow my beard for years now, and it's just not. It doesn't. It just stops.
Derek, get a pencil, and then when I put my pencil into your screen, you extend it on your side so it looks like I'm. You know what I mean? You should do that.
Like passing me a pencil.
Yeah, like have Gia hand you a pencil.
It's gonna be a different thing, but go ahead. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be funny. Ready? No, you can't use the same hand, you fucking idiot. Use the other hand.
What do you mean?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll point down to Steve. Ready?
Oh, you're gonna go down?
Yeah, I'm going down to you, so you gotta match it.
All right, grab it.
All right, I dropped the pencil.
Thank you. You gotta talk while you take it, or else it's not gonna show you.
Ready? So I'll drop a pencil, and then you have it like drop into your hand.
All right.
Usually you have to be off screen, but it's like ready.
Oh, I'm gonna do it like this. Hey, John, you have a pen I can borrow?
Yeah, here you go.
But he already dropped it.
Oh,
it didn't work at all.
It was so late.
No, do it. Just do it. Do this. Drop it down from the top, and I'll grab it. No, from the bottom, from your bottom. Yeah, do that. Okay.
Grab it from your bottom.
Pass me that pen. No, other way. Yeah. Pass me that pen, John. Thank you. Yeah, just feed it down to me. Thank you. There we go.
Steve, I like that painting behind you. Classy.
Yeah, it's an original Monet.
It's definitely not a Monet, but thank you.
Monet.
Okay,
all right.
We are back.
All
the
right.
Cosmic Vulture podcast brought to you by Wambo. It's kind of like it's a fucking piece of rubber for kids. I don't know. It's like that Nickelodeon bullshit, like Gak.
Growing up, or is that like a little bit too early?
Did they have Nickelodeon back in 2003 when you were born?
No, I mean I was born in 2010, so.
John actually just turned 10, which is
John's
double digits.
John's a pre-tween right now.
John is a tween, which is cool. We don't discriminate.
So we're going to give you a little Cosmic Vultures lesson. Today we're going to discuss to you our first EP. It's called Black and White, released back in 2017. We had 4 songs in this EP. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. It's the first thing we've ever released.
J-Bone, can you hook us up with a screenshot of that? That's J-Bone, our guitarist.
J-Bone.
No, we all need cool names. John could be J-Bone.
J-Bone? Wait, J-Bong or Bone? Are you saying Bong or Bone?
Can I be Rattlesnake Rick?
Bone.
All
yeah.
right, so this is Black and White. It has backwards lateral. I mean, everyone's heard that. Black Sheep is like the only song at that time that we wrote together as a group. White Spade and Honey Child. Actually, no, we all wrote Honey Child together. Derek wrote White Spade originally, but then we moved it to the band.
Yeah, and I remember I wrote backwards lateral, but that's besides the point. Let's go to the next album.
Steve's an asshole because I wrote backwards lateral.
So here we go. So this is after Black and White.
They wrote it together. The next album was
Angel Dust, Liquid, and Illusion was kind of like my my brainchild for this album. And then starting with Confusion, that was John, and Hammer was mine, Saint Suicide was mine. I got to give credit where credit's due. John and Derek did write Diamonds. I'm gonna give them that. Confusion, I don't know why they couldn't just say freak instead of the F word, because now that's as explicit, which really diminishes our chances of
Steve is fibbing. Just so you know, Steve's fibbing. Steve's writing credits go with I think he wrote, I don't even think he wrote any of the bass lines on this album.
I got those royalty-free bass lines online. I just copy and pasted.
Wow.
I just paid some
and then we went to Seven Witches.
It's funny. It's really funny.
No, Seven Witches was actually supposed to be a full-length album.
It was.
We cut the fat around it, and we just thought these 4 were the kind of the best we had to offer.
Believe me, there was a lot of fat.
There was like maybe 4 other songs.
No, we had some good tracks. We had Sacred Hand, which is a great song. We played it a couple of times live, I think. Purple Mushroom was a good one, still on the shelf. And I think we had Waiting too, which is just a one that I put on my solo album recently. But that was a band song for a while. We decided these 4 were the best we had to offer at that time, and we decided to just go with the EP.
Absolutely. And it ended up working out.
John, can you scroll down just a scotch?
Hold on a minute, yeah.
Oh, phone call. Oh, okay. So that was the single that we released, Seven Witches. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think that's actually I think that was the volume. One of them was like a volume issue. It's still up there.
Oh yeah, one of the songs ended up being lower.
Seven Witches.
Yeah.
Seven Witches.
I don't know. I think the single's correct, but the track on the EP is incorrect volume wise.
Yeah, I mean, it works. You know, it's
yeah. Just turn your volume up.
Oh, you know what else is cool? Talking about these albums. I just recall the music video for Seven Witches. I thought that was one of the cooler, more involved projects. We did Angel Dust, obviously.
It was more. Seven Witches was like dark. Definitely had a darker tone. The whole album.
Pull up, possibly pull up the music video for Angel Dust and put it on mute, and we'll kind of, or maybe not. It's up to you guys. But we could do some comments.
Yeah, go. If you guys want to go for it, I'm down. I'm fine with it.
Can you still see my screen?
I can see your screen now. Yep.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I can't get to like the next tab. Shit. The thing keeps popping up. I'm like fighting with the thing up top here. We're on stop share.
Stop share.
We have to get good at this.
I need a podcast chair because I'm like sitting on my amp case. Our aim is to bring you fun and enlightening conversation during this pandemic.
We aim to please. Hopefully
have a lot of you on the podcast too to share your talents and ideas as well. John?
Oh, hey. I'm still here.
You're like halfway through it. You're like, and we aim to please John.
No, it's like back to you, John. You're supposed to have something ready. Thanks, Steve. And you go to a clip.
He's the weatherman.
John, do we have a clip?
Oh God!
I thought we had a clip. Oh, we're having actually issues with that. I think
John's pulling up our Spotify page with our video. Never mind. The video.
All right, so this is Seven Witches for those of you who don't know. John, give us some volume if you could, if possible. Maybe a little more. There we go.
This was produced by the great Jade Brewer.
Jade, yeah, really good job on the filming, cinematography. So like usual, when we do music videos, we go to the site, we have a rough idea, but a lot of it is actually spur of the moment and kind of like, all right, what's the next scene going to be? And that's kind of what, like
exactly.
No, we don't really
I think we had the idea of at least having the witches kind of doing their thing around a tree, doing some cool ritualistic things. I think the story where I become like the Vulture King or whatever, it was like a spur of the moment on set, I'm pretty sure.
I like this aspect right here. Like it starts with you waking up, so it like starts at the end to me. Almost.
Right.
And then it unravels into like.
Was it a dream?
Like a dream, or like was it reality? Yeah, that's how I take it. And then it kind of I like this shot. Who's this? Mary
Vet Tello.
Mary Vet, like she's got that like that. I want to say a witchy look. She just looks like I don't know. She looks like a pretty witch. I don't know.
Yeah. Mary Vet, if you're watching, you're beautiful. Thank you so much for doing the video.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
Yeah. Like her eyes are like so empty. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, all the girls we got for this did a really good job.
Yeah, the stair scene. We each had a stair scene.
Yeah, I love John's hands here. John's hands are.
Play that clip of you going up the
stairs,
hands. John. Kind of like it's like very Silent Hill.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What's in there? What's going on down there? But yeah, this video was filmed
skimming around
in my room. It was filmed in my room and it's filmed in where was it filmed? What was that place in Salem?
No, I think it was a park in Beverly. Yeah.
Was it? It wasn't even in Salem. Not even which city?
Well, we wanted to do it in Salem, but we figured we probably need a permit to film in the cemetery, so we just went for a park instead. And the park was beautiful, and especially when it got dark out, it had the correct tone for the what we envisioned.
This is probably one of my favorite parts.
Nothing better than Steve spinning around in a circle.
Right? And then ready? This is Steve. Yeah.
I'm just floating.
That was sexy. I love that. Every image of Steve in that sequence was my favorite.
Thanks.
So Seven Witches, I don't know if you people listening, Seven Witches is like, it's a combination of a few different things. You know, we wanted to make it funky like we usually do, but we brought a dark element to it. It's kind of an interesting idea of bringing, you know, dark matter into funk. So you know, I don't know. For me, it's very interesting. You could dance to it, but it's also like you're doing a creepy dance with at a masquerade ball with the lights out.
Yeah, it's kind of
that's pretty cool.
And you see Jade Brewer. Shout out to Jade Brewer, by the way.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's definitely, I think it's my favorite video we've done so far. It's very interesting and it's dark, and we shot it like it's supposed to be like an old timey horror movie. So
like dark noir. It was called noir.
Yep.
Noir.
Noir.
It's like a coffee bean, isn't it? It's a coffee bean. Espresso Noir. Actually, that's the company I work for. That's their. They make a coffee bean called Espresso Noir.
Yeah, special thanks to the witches here. I think we got a list.
Yep.
Gia Smith, Mary Vettello, Jacqueline Eugenio, Annalisa Saldi. I can't pronounce her name. Sorry, Lisa. Janine. And then who else we got? I can't even fucking. Oh, Megan Parker and Alice Gurdware.
Yep. Every witch that was part of it did an awesome job. They brought some really cool things to the video. John, if you want to head over to the Spotify page, we can go over a couple of the projects we've done.
Is it over? You see it?
No, I still see the video page.
All right.
Hey, Roy. Hey, Roy.
Put it all up. Let me. There you go.
All right, so this is our Spotify page. If you scroll down, you'll see. So first, we actually, I don't know, is that Mariana showing up first?
Oh my ass!
Yeah, Black and White.
Well, Black and White's the first EP. We released it in 2017. We took 2 days to record it with Alex Allenson at the Bridge Sound and Stage in Somerville, and it took a couple of days to do this. We had, I think, maybe 5 or 6 songs we wanted to record, but we shot it down to 4 that we really thought that were good. Backwards Lateral is usually the song that, especially in our early days, we would like end the show with this one because it has just I don't know, we felt it has some magic to it, and we had some fun with that one. So we usually end our shows with that. But Backwards Lateral is a really fun song. There's a battle between lead guitarist John and bass player Steve, which is really fun. And the next. Backwards Lateral. We did record a video for way back when it was just me, you, and our former drummer Kevin. We had an old video. I don't even know if we still have it, but once John joined the band, the song it became an animal.
Which one was this? Backwards Lateral?
Backwards Lateral, yeah. So
yeah. I remember when I started playing with you guys, it was like hard to keep up with Steve sometimes. I wasn't used to like the energy, that type of funky energy in a band. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta keep up. And
well, I don't know.
I had to get used to it.
Yeah, for sure. If you strip away the guitar playing and the bass playing and just listen to it on acoustic, it was meant to have like a Latin flavor to it. I kind of, this world will keep you alive. I was trying to do that Spanish sounding.
Yeah.
I thought the song's original title was, I think it was called Schizophrenic Aztec. And when I brought it, I think I brought it to Steve. I showed him that he added like this like funk bass over it. Now it's like, this is no longer a Spanish folk song. This is now funky. And it became something else.
I don't even remember.
Me neither. I just know that it started off as a folk song and it became a funk song. So I'm assuming you had something to do with that.
Yeah, the genesis of this song, I have zero recollection of what the very beginning.
Genesis.
Listen, John, it's a podcast. I gotta sound interesting here.
Yeah, Black Sheep was a great song. One of my favorites. John had a really cool riff and some chords and stuff like that, and a basic vocal part. I remember going home and writing lyrics for it and just being really happy with them. And the whole song came together really well. It's got a really weird time signature at times, but I think that's really cool. It's one of my favorites by far.
Yep, this is the very first EP. You know what's funny? People talk about when they wrote EPs, how the recording process was, but a lot of people, most people don't talk about what the days leading up to that EP were. Because, you know, for us, I think it was kind of a funny situation because literally the night before, we're like, oh, let's get ready for this EP. I remember John was sleeping over at my place. He was upstairs. And I had roommates at the time. And, you know, John and I were,
Let's not forget, Steve, that you were downstairs. John was in the middle and I was upstairs.
No, you weren't living. I don't think you were living there.
I was not living there.
Yeah, I don't believe you were. Yeah, John.
Because there was a point in time. Okay, we did sleep there, and I thought I was there, but okay.
Yeah, so the night before, my roommate, her and her friends, you know, it was like late, 12. I was like, all right, let's get some sleep.
Dude, it was like 1 a.m. by the time I was asleep, and then these
so you were on the couch.
Random ass girls bust in the fucking door, and then
no, it wasn't immediate.
They start cooking sausages at fucking like 3 a.m. Like,
are you sure it was sausages?
Yeah, no, they're like, no, they're like, John, don't worry about it. You're not gonna know we're here. Fucking 5 minutes later, they're just sizzling sausage. Like,
they're pissed drunk. I'm in my underwear. I'm basically naked.
And this dude from Russia is just sitting next to you, like interviewing you while you're half naked. You know, and, he's like, "You want your sausage?"
So if you think about the EP, we had to cram it into 2 days. John was on fumes because of not being able to sleep the night before.
Because of the sausage.
So you listen to his guitar playing. It sounds like a man who got enough sleep. So props to John.
Thanks. I love you.
This process was so stressful though, because like we had like 16 hours to get done, literally, and that included setup. And I remember the very last hour of recording. I remember like I was literally next to Alex Allenson doing those last minute. I had like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah,
I need this change. So I was like really down to the minute that we recorded. So
I recall somebody being really late to the first day. It's funny, I can't remember who it was, but I know somebody was really late setting up. But anyways, so moving on. So White Spade.
I was there on time, mother.
Steve, I'm not talking about you jackass.
Oh.
So anyways, the third song is White Spade. That was one that I had, that I wrote that I thought was kind of cool, had some energy to it.
It's probably the worst song. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it could be. It could be.
I actually like it.
We stopped playing this one live because we couldn't really figure it out as a live entity. But I think now we play it live with the Kiba and it just sounds phenomenal. It's just got a lot of energy and it's wild. If I could go back, I would add a lot of ohs during the chorus. But
what was that?
Oh,
can you do that again?
Oh,
whoa.
But horses for courses.
Lawn.
The last song on there is Honey Child. That one's the last one, I think, because there's a long jam at the end. We had a lot of fun with this one. This one's a staple at our shows. We play this one all the time. And I think sometimes we go like 10 minutes with this one. And you may hear Steve playing some like Mario bass. Super Mario bass.
Wait. Are you talking about that practice recording we did?
No, we live. We were playing Honey Child, and you were like in the middle of it. You were like, do
we have this song recorded?
And I was like, I don't know. It was at one of our shows. I looked over at you, and you weren't even looking at me. You were just in your own head, and I was just like, what the hell is going on right now?
I wish we recorded like more of these shows because I remember we had some really hangout performances. Especially
going forward, I think we're gonna do that. I think we should spend more time getting really good footage of all of our shows so we can look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember. So next, after Black and White, we did our first full-length album, which is Mariana. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with EPs and LPs and what they all mean, but EP is extended play. Originally, when an artist would release a single, they would sometimes release it with a few other songs, maybe 3, maybe 4, and it's considered an extended play. Just extended from just one song, one single. Yeah. It's a little bit longer. And then an LP is a long play, and that usually means it's a full-length album. And I don't know, different people have different things to say about it, but I think a full-length album is like at least 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I don't think there's much about the track listing, because if you look at any Pink Floyd album, there's like 5 songs on Wish You Were Here, and it's like a good 50-minute album. But you know, this was Mariana. There's only 8 songs. You may think, oh, it's short, but it's not. It's still, you know, it's still lengthy, and it, you know, I
go by minutes.
Yeah, I prefer, you know, shorter track albums. It's more digestible and a lot less. Cut the fat out and put the songs you think are really good. It's got to be at least a half hour. Probably could have been longer, but you know, I don't even consider this an 8-song album. I always consider this a 7-song album because Illusion Track 2 is really just a prelude to Liquid Intelligence.
It's 29 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but there are albums by, you know, I'll use like Tool as an example, Dave Matthews Band as an example. They have these interlude tracks that are literally like 30 seconds long.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from it. But for me, just because I know it's the prelude to Liquid, it never felt like its own entity. It always felt like it was just part of it.
It could be, though. I feel like it is kind of, you know, because we could just rush right into Liquid and not play that, you know, because like we've done it live before. And it requires, I feel like it requires a certain audience because it is like a slower thing and it's like a very nuanced sound. So,
right. No, for sure. The timing of it's really, really cool too. As soon as Illusion ends, you just right into Liquid and it's just perfect.
Yeah. It's
but
fantastic.
Just,
but yeah,
I guess we'll backtrack a little bit and go back to Angel Dust, which is, for me, if anyone says to me, hey, you know, Derek, let me hear some Cosmic Vultures, what should I listen to? I usually say listen to Angel Dust. Because I think the song is really, really well written. I think it's a really good recorded song. I think it might be the best recording we've ever done. In my personal opinion, it's crisp. It's just very well done. John's got some really cool backwards guitar at one point. The bass solo is phenomenal. The vocal effects are really cool. That's why we picked it as the music video, because I thought it was the front runner. It was the single for me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, and talking about how we did the music video, like talk about like doing it on the spot. Like 7 Witches, we had a plan in like an outline, but in some of the stuff was on the spot. Angel Dust was like 100% on the spot. Like we came in with a kind of a plan, but then we're like, no, let's just do something else. And like, you know, how about John just jumps off that tree and Jade had to like lay under the tree and like her face by like inches. It was a very had like more of a 90s music video vibe, which I thought was pretty cool. But if I had a recommendation for anybody watching, definitely check out Angel Dust music video because I think it's really cool.
Absolutely, for sure.
Very funky, and there's a lot of blinking mushrooms and portals in this music video. So if you like that kind of stuff,
you guys like my quarantine attire? That's my pajamas.
We love your pajamas.
Oh, John, I think I got the same socks as you. I got the same socks.
Oh,
nice.
Mine are gray on a little more gray.
Yeah, mine are more of a dark gray.
Yeah, I'm more of like gray. I like salt and pepper over here.
I would recommend, if you're listening to any of our stuff, especially Mariana, listen to it with a good pair of headphones, because there's a lot of things you'll catch when you're listening. Especially in Angel Dust, there's a really cool track of John playing some like backward style guitar towards the end, and it's sometimes you're listening to it on like a large speaker, you can't really make it out, but on headphones you can really hear it, and it puts the song over for sure.
Another reason why to talk about listening to on headphones, at the end of Liquid, we do this thing. It sounds like a crowd cheering, and it's like really distant, and it's like it fades out, and you can really hear it well if you listen to headphones. And that's kind of a prelude to the next track, Confusion. So Confusion was really funny because we wanted to make the intro sound like we were recording in a bar, people like ordering drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, we took turns, like just like saying a line or a lyric, and then like we all.
Well, it started with you and me, John. We're like in your room, and we're like this. I think we use this microphone too, and like we just press record, and we're like, "Hey, how's it going?" We did that for 10 seconds. Stop. Next track. Another comment. There's like 20 tracks of just like 4 people.
At some point, we should actually like grab that track and listen to each individual line to see what was said, and write them down as liner notes, because you know, I know there's stuff that I say on there. Kevin, my wife Gia, says stuff on there too, and I can only really hear Steve on there. It's like at one point I hear him like, get a beer, yeah, put it on my tab. That's what I hear every time.
Well, you should have spoke louder.
Yeah, apparently. But
I didn't.
Yeah, Confusion. Yeah, Confusion's amazing. It's one of my favorite songs. It's my father's favorite Cosmic Vulture song and my mother's favorite Cosmic Vulture song. Yep, they're both their favorite separately. And
Derek and I
yeah, it's
like Derek and I.
Yeah, it's funny because my dad sometimes can't decipher our vocals. He doesn't know who's who sometimes.
Yeah.
Of course, I know who's who because I know my own voice and your voice. But it's so cool. It's so cool that we did that like that. It was kind of like John was singing and I was sort of like his conscience or something. We were trying to do something like that, which was really, really cool.
Tried to make it creative.
Yeah, for sure. And the guitar solo at the end is one of my favorites you've ever played. I think it's my top 2. So maybe top 3.
I remember that solo. I was thinking about it not too long ago, very specifically, because like that was like that one time Arthur came over. He came over and he sat down, and I was like, Steve, like, all right, we're gonna get this in like a couple takes, and then we just fucking. I remember we did like 3 takes, picked one, and that was it.
Are you talking about the solo for Liquid?
Confusion. No, Confusion.
Confusion.
Pay attention, Steve.
Pay attention, Steve.
I am paying attention, kind of. I don't think Arthur was there for that.
Yeah, he was over. I remember he was over my house.
And he was there for the actual recording of the Confusion solo?
Yeah, just the solo.
Interesting. You know, one of my
after
Steve. One of my favorite solos by John on Mariana is I forget. I know
we'll get there. Let's keep moving because we're jumping around a lot. So after Confusion is what, Diamonds? I think Diamonds and Dark Clouds. Diamonds and Dark Clouds is the full name, but we just call it Diamonds.
Yeah.
But that's a cool one. It's got a cool rhythm to it. It's kind of like the ballad of the album, I guess, but it's not even balladish to me anymore. It's just kind of groovy. Maybe Steve, this is what you're talking about, but John's guitar playing on Diamonds, again, amazing. Really cool solos there. Just awesome. John sings the chorus and I kind of back him up on it, and it's just a lot of fun. That's a really cool one.
I think it is. The solo John does in Diamonds is like fantastic because it's almost minimalist because like he does like less notes than he usually does, but they're just like bent in such a really soulful way. It's just like you do this when you're like, oh
yeah. Well, one thing I had mentioned to John, and I love when he's playing in the middle of the neck and then he just goes up high and just starts bending those high notes. It just melts me. Unbelievable stuff. I think I remember him doing like at least 6 or 7 takes of that, different types of solos, and then we were like, oh man, that one was definitely it. And you were like, let me just try a couple more. But that one, just very, very good.
I'm very picky. I'm very picky with my solos.
Because there's a solo in the middle, and then there's a solo at the end too, sort of as an outro.
Yeah. Well, sometimes like 7 Witches and Angel Dust, those are the only 2 solos that I've ever written in a song, in like any of our records. Diamonds and Confusion, Liquid, those are all just like off the cuff every time.
Yeah, and actually, I think Steve's brother Lenny, he always mentions Diamonds when we're playing live. He's like, play that one longer because I think it's one of his favorites.
We could extend the solo section. John could just go nuts for right,
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. The next one after Diamonds is Hammer. That has some
one of my favorites. I know it's like,
oh yeah, Hammer's great.
You know, I think we're all like super critical of everything we do. So it's like we actually get a thing that like, I remember we were recording this album and it's like, I know John and I especially were getting like burnt out because all we were doing was mixing and like every day and for like weeks. So we're getting super burnt out, and then we're listening to it in the car. I'm like, is this the final mix? And we're just like, screw it, just print it. And I couldn't handle it anymore. I just need to get away from this album. But I just ignored it for like months, and I came back to it, and I was like, wow, I feel like we did a really good job.
That alone, and I remember Hammer was like it got deleted twice.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
That might have been my fault.
I'm pretty sure one of them at least was Steve's fault.
One of them was Steve's. I think one of them would have been mine. Or like it's something didn't happen. Or like I think the computer shut down when we were doing it.
So I think
it wasn't saved or something. Yeah.
When I saved it, I just didn't do it right, and I overwrote I don't know. I didn't save it, and then we moved on, and I saved our next project on top of the previous one. I'm like, I think I just deleted Hammer. I think that's all gone.
It happened a couple times, but
it was like 8 hours of just wasted work.
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But
But Hammer's got a really cool like sound. It's like it kind of reminds me of like the Doors mixed with the Allman Brothers at the end with the solo. The lyrics are they're pretty dark. It's kind of like about like a serial killer's perspective on how he sort of catches his prey, so to speak. But it's a fun song. It's not meant to be meant to disturb anybody. It's meant to be kind of a fun song. A lot of energy. Actually, the last couple of times we've played it, it's been a little bit more groovy and a little bit more slowed down, which is a lot of fun to play it that way too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I think the ending, for me anyway, it reminds me of Fish Jam, because usually John takes a solo, but this one, I think this was just like us jamming, and like we just kind of went off, and I kind of did the solo, but it was more of like I don't even consider it really a solo. It's just more of a melody I was jamming, and to me that's really similar to like Mike Gordon from Fish. I like his style, which I like. So to me,
definitely
Fish influences for sure.
Gotcha. So the next one after that is Saint Suicide, which is sort of the different track on the album, because it came up as sort of just an acoustic song that I wrote, and it's not usually when I'm writing, I don't know if it's going to fit in the Vulture universe, and it worked. We had a really fun jam at the end of it. It's an anti-suicide song, just to make that clear.
I listened to this today, actually. I was the song like popped in my head, and I was like, oh, I want to listen to it, and I ended up listening to it.
It's definitely a good one to break up the album a bit. Yeah, it's a fun one for me too. I love playing it live. I love that jam at the end. We extend that jam for a lot longer.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And then the album ends with Blood Moon, which is arguably the best track on the album, depending on who you talk to. But that's there's a lot to say about this one.
That Blood Moon has a really cool moment, because I remember there's a part in Blood Moon where it just dies off, and it's like really low and like R&B kind of feeling, and like there was a part of a day when we were recording, and Steve and I were just messing with sounds on like delay pedals and like different EQs, and messing with the EQ of the snare, and just like really dived into like designing this one part of this whole song. And like
that part we dubbed the Barry White part. The end of the first part of the song ends, and it goes into, like you were saying, that like trippy. This part kind of winds down. It sounds like the song's over, but it's not. And John and I usually go to the delay pedals, and I'm pretty sure we both have analog delay, which you can only get this kind of like weird explosion alien sound from an analog delay, because if it's digital, it can't get this feedback loop that you can with an analog. So we do that there. And then once we're done with that, then the snare drum comes in like a gunshot. It's just like, and it's funny on the album, I think we spent like almost half a day just on the snare drum sound. Like, how ridiculous can we get this? And it was just like, I think it literally just sounds like a gunshot now.
It does. I feel like we should get someone to make a film just for that part of the song, because that reminds me of like Derek, because there's like Derek has some lyrics there. He just says a poem like randomly, like, and then like I feel like that was just like a scene in a movie where like someone gets shot in like an alleyway, and Derek says those things.
Yeah, it's strange. It was like, do you want me to fix that hole in your back? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like,
and then it's
I listen to what you say once in a while. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, so it's what is it? It's let me fix that hole in your back, and then it's getting tiring. And I say living every day, and then we took a living every day out because it's not a goofy. So I just said it's getting tiring, and then I said I could take you away if you want me to, or if you want me to, I can. And then boom! It's just Does it mean I killed this person? We don't know. It's just kind of ambiguous.
Well, either way, it's a sweet snare drum kick right in the middle. It's funny because Blood Moon's the last track, and that's literally the first track we worked on for this album.
Yeah, it's I thought when we were doing the track listing, I knew that especially for me, that Angel Dust and Blood Moon were kind of like the powerhouse to the album. Not to say that there's other great tracks in the album, but Angel Dust and Blood Moon just seemed like the book covers of the album.
Those were like fresh in our minds, like what we were ready to record with.
Yeah, it became a good intro and a good outro with those songs. But Blood Moon is so fun to play live. There's a little bit of it's kind of a hip hop feel in the middle, during the verses, and I do a kind of a low voice, which is really cool. And that's a fun one. Then we have a Frank Zappa part that leads the verse into the chorus that we call it the Zappa part. I don't know.
It's like Zappa slash Fish Part. It's almost that like dream sequence.
Yeah.
Dream sequence.
Yeah. And I always love songs that bring you back to the main riff, to the main part. And so we're doing Blood Moon, we're doing the verses and the choruses. The chorus is so fun. And then we go into this crazy psychedelic funky jam, and it ends with that riff, that chorus again. It brings you back home. I feel like that's really important, and it's one of my favorites by far.
Yeah.
Solid. I think it's a solid album. If anyone wants to check it out, super.
Yeah.
Every song flows into the next, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
I like it, and also the artwork. John, it was one of John's friends did the artwork.
Valerie Parente.
Yeah, artwork's
really good job.
My father's a painter, and he always mentions how he loves the artwork and how it's very original. There's actually, she also made artwork for the back of it as well. It's like the backside of this woman and stuff, and it's really cool, and it has the track listing on it. So we're thinking about making some copies someday, either on CD or vinyl, and you'll definitely see the back of that at that point.
For sure.
Sneak preview.
You got it?
Oh, yeah, it's got it's back
of it right there. Sneak preview. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for this episode, the very first episode of the Cosmic Vultures podcast. Appreciate you sticking to the end there. Don't forget, before we leave, very, very delicately hit the subscribe button. Very lightly. It's fragile. YouTube is cutting corners these days, so very lightly, just touch the subscribe button and maybe give us a like. Stay tuned next time for episode number 2. A lot more interesting people coming on, a lot of guests, a lot of good conversation, a lot of fun times. Stick around. See you next time.